On feeds, crease jeans, on leather seats. I'm everything these lames will never be. I'm everything these lames will never be. I'm a cool ass nigga, try to play me like I'm soft, and you gon' see them red beams like Cyclops took his glasses off. Like Cyclops took his glasses off. Like Cyclops took his glasses off.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. This is going to be the first one that I'm shooting on my iPhone 5S, which I picked up this weekend. I'm actually going to do a full video on the iPhone 5S and the story behind it. I don't want to get into it now because it's a long story, but long story short is that I waited 8 hours at the Apple Store on Fifth Avenue from midnight to 8 a.m. Got in, got time to buy the phone, and because my license was expired, they would not let me buy it. And there was no mercy, no sort of sympathy. That was it. So I thought I was waiting for nothing, but on the way home I stopped at an At&T store, and they had a few. And so I was able to pick up a 32 gigabyte iPhone S in the space color, I think it is. All the gold one is space gray. All the gold ones sold out like within 10 minutes. That's the one I really wanted, but it is a little ostentatious and a little bit gaudy. So, as you guys know, the whole thing with this new iPhone is the Touch ID, the much faster 64-bit processor and the motion detector, and the camera. And so hopefully these videos will be a little bit clearer, and I'll be able to take better shots for other uses. But so expect a full video on that next week, the experience, and how I feel about the product. Today's video, though, is a fall scent because we're starting to get in the fall. I'm in New York City, and the weather has absolutely turned. And the one we're doing today is a very popular fragrance because of its price, really, and because of its uncanny resemblance to a Creed scent that retails for about 10 times as much as this one. And don't start screaming plagiarism here. This one was released first, so if anyone did anything, Creed did the copying here. And the fragrance that we're talking about is Individuel by Mont Blanc. Now, as always, first time I talk about a house, I love to give some background. I feel it gives the fragrance some context, makes it a little bit easier to picture it. So to start with, Mont Blanc is a German company that's known for their pens and luxury goods. My first introduction to the house was from pens. I got one as a gift from one of my friends when I was doing a lot of writing, so I do have one. I also have about 3 or 4 of their fragrances at this point. And this is a company that was started in 1908. By 3 friends, 2 bankers and a stationeer, and at first it was just called the Simplo Filler Pen Company, and they were making really upscale pens in Hamburg, Germany. The name Mont Blanc came from a special pen that they released in 1910, and that signature star that you now see on almost all of their products, I think on all their products, was inspired by the peak of the Mont Blanc, the highest point in the Alps. But it wasn't until 1935 the company changed their name to Mont Blanc and started to feature that star on all of their products. By 1935, they were producing more than pens. They were making other accessories like notebooks and writing cases. But during World War II, the company's manufacturing facilities were destroyed, so they later rebuilt in Denmark, and that's where they're currently manufacturing. And basically in the 80s, Mont Blanc was really popping. They were opening boutiques all over the world. Their antique pens started to become collector's items. The company ownership started to switch hands, and the 70s group acquired Mont Blanc in the 1970s, but Dunhill acquired them, and they then sold to the Richemont Group, and the Richemont Group really expanded the line to cases, jewelries, and watches. But it wasn't until 2001 that they released their first fragrance. It was called Presents for Women, and in 2005, Starwalker became the first men's fragrance. And Inter Perfumes is the brand that owns this and the right to the Mont Blanc fragrances. And I think in Fracom, Mont Blanc's looked at as a quality house that makes safe fragrances, really nothing more, nothing left. A lot of their fragrances can be found at discount spots like TG Maxx and Marshall's. I think their latest offering is Legend Intense, which is a flanker of the Sephora hit Legend. I'm sort of on the fence with their fragrances. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get good quality, but not tremendous longevity or projection, and nothing too daring. It's nowhere near as bold as Dior or Chanel, but also nowhere near as plain as, say, a Lacoste or a Polo. This particular fragrance was released in 2003 by Parfumé Pierre Bourdon, who has done a ton of great fragrances. Cool Water, some say Green Irish Tweed. He's done scents for Frederic Malle. He did Bergamoto Marino for Gianfranco Ferre, MDCI scents, and another favorite of mine, Live Jazz for Yves Saint Laurent. So an all-star nose right there. And a lot of notes on this fragrance. At the top, you're going to have rosemary, pineapple, coriander, cinnamon, lavender, juniper berries, mint, bergamot, and cardamom. In the middle, you're going to get orange blossom, jasmine, geranium, and violet. And in the base, dark chocolate, sandalwood, amber, patchouli, musk, raspberry, vanilla, oak moss, and vetiver. You should be able to find this discounted, and what I mean by that is about $30 for a 75 ml bottle. I got mine at Amazon for that price. Don't pay more. It's a good fragrance, but definitely not worth more than much than that. As far as presentation goes, kind of looks like a flask you would put liquor in. It gets a lot of fingerprints on it. So, you know, a nice wide bottle. And in the box is, you know, just that star, Individuel, some information on the back, and that's pretty much it. It also does have that signature star on the top. So very simple presentation, sort of elegant, but not too clunky. And what I get with this fragrance is mild sweetness at the top. It's got a good quality to it, but I don't think it compares to Creed's Original Santal, which is what it is compared to, because the cinnamon and sandalwood notes in Original Santal are richer and longer on my skin. It also draws comparison to Youp Homme, which is an older fragrance, and it's a sweet scent, and that is sort of famous for having just bonkers projection and longevity. This is a little bit lighter than that, and not as sweet. When you look at the notes in this fragrance, you'd think gourmand with pineapple and cinnamon and dark chocolate and vanilla and raspberry. But to me, it's not a gourmand, not a fragrance that smells like something you'd want to eat. Instead, it's a slightly balmy, lightly sweetened lavender scent. It's got three main components that make it up: spices, florals, and woods. And if I was going to describe this scent to someone, which isn't the easiest thing to do in the world, this is a little complicated, I would tell folks to think of amber, sandalwood, and chocolate scent with a nice sweetness to it. Not too sweet. You're going to get that sandalwood, you're going to get some chocolate, and the amber part, you're going to get a bit of vanilla and cinnamon. As I said, it's nowhere near quite as beastly as Youp Homme is, or Creed Original Santal for that matter. It's a little bit higher quality than Youp, but a little bit lower than Original Santal. I get all right longevity out of this. I'd call it average, and projection and sillage also average. 3 or 4 sprays will do you, even though I think this is the type of scent that is going to smell better on a man than on a woman. I think some woman could pull this off. It's an absolutely great scent for fall and winter. When fragrances with amber and sandalwood and chocolate notes are going to do their best at this time of year. And it's nice to slip this in between some of your more expensive cold weather scents like the Tom Fords and Amawages and Nasamados of the world. We talked before about Eau de Bao being an eating inner fragrance, a fragrance that you can wear a lot and not have a high cost over the winter and fall. And this could be another inning eater for you, definitely. And you'll get some really good value out of this scent. Taking into account the price and the fact that there are some other options out there that smell slightly similar to this scent, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I might not be as high in it as others in the community are, but I think it's a good fragrance, and because I own this, it will probably wind up in my rotation for fall and winter solidly, and I probably is going to make the purchase of Creed's Original Santal redundant. I probably won't be picking that up. I really don't love this genre of fragrances. That's those sort of sweeter sandalwood fragrances, but I know that some people enjoy them quite a bit. So this is a great buy for those sorts because you're getting really good value here. And the draw really with the Mont Blanc fragrances for the most part is quality scents at a valued price, and well blended ones is too. So I would take a chance and pick this up. If you can't get your nose on it for $30, it's very safe and it's very good for fall and winter, and it's something nice to add to the rotation, but it's not going to blow you or anyone around you away. Probably not going to get a ton of compliments out of this. It is sort of a skin scent. But it's a solid offering from Mont Blanc, and basically all their offerings are pretty solid. You know what you're getting with them, so it is a very safe house. Anyway, that is going to be this week's episode of Maximilian Must Know. You stay tuned for 3 videos next week. We're going to do, as I said, the iPhone 5S story and mini review. We're going to do an episode of sample shopping. And guys, I have 4 of those lined up because there was a problem with USPS, and the owner sent me a bunch of scents, like 8 of them, and we thought they were lost. So she sent another batch of a different bunch of scents so I could continue shows quickly. And what happened is I got the one that we thought was lost, and now the other one's coming. So like 16 cents. So we're gonna have 4 weeks straight of sample shopping. A lot of heavy hitters in that group. Amouage, Montal, Creed's Windsor, Frederick Malle, a bunch of Montals. Amouage is a tar and reflection. What else is in there? Rose Poivre from the different company, L'air du Desert Marocain by Andy Tower. Just a ton of really high-end, great fragrances. Wazna Incense by Armani Privé line. So, 4 weeks of solid niche sample shopping episodes with some scents that are kind of on the rare side too. Slumber House's Vict, and as I said, Creed's Windsor. And Creed's Windsor is really something special. Can't wait to talk about that. And then next weekend, after the iPhone 5S video and the first sample shopping of the 4, we're going to be doing a fragrance review from the Christian Dior private line that I'm really excited to do. They have some really great fragrances in there, and I'm going to be getting one next week, and we'll be reviewing that next weekend. So check it out. Again, thank you all so much for watching. I am Maximilian.
White hoes say I'm tubular. Nigga, I ain't cool with ya. Fucking break your fibula. Can't wait till let your Wayne get out, but right now where is Nivea? Psych, I ain't playing. I like hoes with their eyes blue. Little niggas always crying like Caillou. Uncool 40 ounce.